Right, a quick potted history of the Crimea. The original inhabitants were mainly the Tartars, but Stalin deported most of those in the 30s. After that, it became the playground really of both the rich and the not so rich from the old Soviet Union. And then in 1954, Khrushchev gave the Crimea as a present to Ukraine. The Russians joked that he was drunk when he did it, but anyway, that way the totally Russian-speaking Crimea ended up as part of Ukraine when the whole Soviet Union dissolved. And so now it's got a slightly unhappy relationship with the rest of Ukraine and is a fully autonomous republic and does not speak any Ukrainian at all. It remains, as they say here, the pearl of the Black Sea, and it's still where all of the rich and famous and the ordinary citizens come along for their summer holidays. It is a seaside holiday with a difference. This is the Livadia Palace, built by Tsar Nicholas II, but more famous for the Yalta Conference, where Roosevelt, Winston Churchill and Stalin got together and basically divided Europe between them after the end of World War II. And we come all this way. It's closed today because there's something going on with high security, a wedding, a conference or something. Like the Taj Mahal, in fact, white marble, all made of white marble. It seems that everywhere you go in Ukraine, shashlik is incredibly popular. It's nearly always meat. But here, we've come somewhere where they actually do fish. So here we go. The guidebooks say that at night the Yalta boardwalk is something like a bizarre mockery of the court of Louis XVI. And this is what they had in mind. In theory, if she understood us correctly, it's going to take us to the most photographed site in Crimea, which is the Swallow's Nest Castle. That's the Swallow's Nest. Not actually a castle, it was built in about 1912 by a German oil baron. But it is the most photographed site anywhere around here. Sunday morning, and we're hoping that this ticket and this bus will take us to Sevastopol. The Russian flag still flies proud. As it proclaims proudly at the station, Sevastopol is actually a city with a medal. Stalin gave it one of his Hero City medals for its services during the Second World War. There are lots of people in Sevastopol that do not want to be Ukrainian. They want to stay Russian, and they want the fleet to stay here. I'm pretty sure that's what this is all about. Amazingly, until 1996, if I had been sitting here, I would have to have been a British spy, which would not have been such a good idea. Very famously, Sevastopol was a closed city for all those years because it was the home of the Black Sea Fleet. It was besieged in the Crimean War, destroyed by the British and the French, and then later besieged by the German forces and Hitler, and destroyed again. And then after that, Stalin basically closed it to the world, and only now is it just starting to open up. So, well, amazing to be here, really. Sevastopol has many war monuments. This is the first, just outside the station. Huge train gunship, and that apparently says "Death to Fascism." So this is Balaclava, not really what you'd expect. It looks something like you'd see on the Mediterranean, doesn't it? Balaclava, very, very historic place. This cove has always been sought after because it's a very protected harbour, and the British were stationed here during the Crimean War. This is where they launched their attacks on Sevastopol, and around here is where Florence Nightingale tended the troops, talked about the terrible conditions, and just across the hills there is where the charge of the Light Brigade took place, so all very, very historic. Now it's really where the nouveau riche from Russia come. Now, somewhere over there, on that side, is the entrance to what was our top secret Soviet nuclear sub-base, which is why Balaclava was itself closed for many, many years. That's the old fortress from when the Genoese occupied the town, when it was on their Silk Route. No doubt that's the first of many hotels and developments for this bay. And I bet in 10 years' time it'll be completely different. We're now on our way to Bakhchisaray, which was the capital of Crimea in the time of the Tartars. And ironically, our driver is a Crimean Tartar, and his family were deported to Uzbekistan and came back in the Gorbachev era. This is the rather magnificent Uspinsky Monastery, which is built into the side of the rock, which was closed obviously by the Soviets again, but about 10 years ago reopened and is now fully functioning again. Just outside Bakhchisaray, one of a number of stone cave cities. Apparently inhabited for millennia. It was particularly populated for a while by the Jewish community that was here at the time of the Muslim Khanate. Fancy living here? Nice view. This is the part of the complex that's in the best condition. Steps going up to the second level. Hall, which is where the Khanate had its government, and the Kahn proclaimed his laws. And then moving through, we come to the inner courtyard and the Golden Fountain. Although it doesn't seem to be operating at the moment, this is the Rose Fountain. The tradition of putting the rose on the top was started by this chap, no less than Alexander Pushkin. And this was the harem. Well, as harems go, it's very beautiful and very evocative, very peaceful. Still, I'd rather not be locked up. These are the rather desolate surroundings of Bakhchisaray train station. We've got an hour to kill, unfortunately, before our train to Sevastopol, and there's not really an awful lot to do. Unfortunately, all we're going to see of the Crimean capital is the last 15 minutes or so walk to the hotel. Here, Lenin still holds court, watching over his comrades.